because I'm very bored today. Yay! I had to clear my throat, sorry. But let's just do this because, like, I'm so ready. Like, who is not ready to read a fanfic? Also, guys, my favorite character, the funny part is, guys, my favorite character in, My Hero Academia is Shigaraki. Don't ask me why it's Shigaraki, it just is. He's so cool. And when you see all these, like, edits and stuff like that, like, you have to like it. Alright, but this is a female reader, just warning. Alright, let's just get on to the video. Female reader. Her quirk is hover. She hovers above the ground and can fly up really high. Her eyes can see farther than normal. Her hair changes color according to her mood. The cover picture is not sorry, I don't know what I'm reading. She has always been called useless, but that all changes when she goes on a field trip with her class to the USJ. Part 1, the USJ. Ryan's POV. You had just gotten our hero costumes, and we headed for some practice training at the USJ. I was so excited I couldn't wait to start training. After we all changed into our costumes, mine was a light purple one piece with thigh-high boots and see-through arm sleeves and skirt. You headed to the USJ. After we arrived, we were given a speech by Rescue Hero 13, and we're about to start our training when a large portal thing appeared in the middle of the training facility. Out stepped a bunch of people. I recognized the one standing in the middle. He wore a hand on his face, a bunch of more some elsewhere on his body. Tomoe Shigaraki. I had read all about him in the newspapers. He was the infamous leader of a group called the League of Villains. My expected pink hair changed into a deep, fearful green. Fear overwhelmed my body as the fighting started. I didn't see much of what was going on, but I heard a kid's voice yelling. It was Bakio. He was trying to attack the villain with the portal thing. He looked like he was made out of purple smoke. Without warning, we were all falling through nothing. When I could see again, I saw that I was in the mountain zone. I was floating a couple inches off the ground on my back, floating upwards. I could see the whole arena. I looked around and saw Shigaraki with his hands extended towards the frog girl. I hadn't memorized everyone's name yet. So she was paralyzed with fear. She couldn't move. Angling my body, I let gravity pull me down toward them. I stopped right before coloring with Shigaraki's hovering above the ground. I spread my arms and leg out in a star shape and stood in between him and the frog girl. My hair was still green and my eyes were closed out of fear. No, stop! You couldn't do this, I yelled at him. Little girl, get out of my way before I kill you too. I held my ground, but then I felt something on my head. He grabbed my hair and was lifting me up to his eye level. It didn't hurt since I could just float forwards. My hands and legs dropped as I basically dangled in his grasp. Didn't you hear me? Don't you know who I am? I hung limp in his grasp, petrified. I gathered enough courage to open my eyes to tell him, yes, I know exactly who you are, Tomura Shigaraki. Quite drastically. Touch anything with off my fingers and it will turn to ash. You're a smart one, he said thoughtfully. Kawagiri, I'm taking this one, he said while wrapping his arms around my body, immobilizing me. I'm here, I suddenly heard from the entrance. All Might was here. You're too late, Shigaraki yelled threateningly, tightening his grasp. He faced All Might, but when he tried to come forward, Shigaraki placed his hand on my face, covering my right eye. His pinky was up in the air, stopping him from disintegrating my face. Retreat, he yelled as Kogiri opened his warp gate. When it was only him left, he swept his gaze across the whole room. Don't even try to rescue her or else, he threatened All Might again. Tried to close the gap before her himself and Shigaraki, but stopped. When Shigaraki tightened his grasp against me once more. At this point, I could hardly breathe, and I knew I would lose consciousness any minute. Now, move his pinky down but before he could, All Might yelled, no, stop, don't do it. Shigaraki stopped and stared at him. Don't come after her, or she becomes ash at your feet. The room was so quiet, if anyone talked, you wouldn't have been able to hear what I whispered next. Listen to him. I can handle myself, I choked out, trying to give a weak smile, but was overtook by a fit of coughing. My vision was blurring, and the only thing I could see was a blurry bob of red and blue from All Might's costume. My eyes closed, and my body went limp, putting my whole weight on Shigaraki's arm. My hair changed back to its natural brown hair color. I couldn't feel any emotion. I was unconscious and at the will of the League of Villains. Part 2, Shigaraki. Shigaraki's POV. As I am about to destroy the weird frog girl, something else appeared out of nowhere. in front of me. Her arms and legs spread out like a star in her effort to stop me from getting to the girl behind her. She floats above the ground with her eyes tightly shut, and her hair was a weird shade of green. Strange child, I thought to myself. Is she trying to get herself killed? No, stop, you can't do this, she yelled at me. Who does this girl think she is? I thought. Interested. Little girl, get out of my way, or I'll kill you too. She didn't move a single muscle, but stayed floating in the air in front of me. I was starting to get annoyed at her. I grabbed her messy green hair and lifted her up carefully, careful of my quirk. It was very easy to do so. I suggest she just made her body float higher. I probably wasn't even causing her any pain. Even still, her body fell and hung more limp in my grasp. She's terrified of me, I thought, with satisfaction as I saw her eyes close tighter. Didn't you hear me? Don't you know who I am? I yelled at her. Suddenly she opened her eyes and I saw they were most beautiful purple color, not a color you'd see every day, but then again, not many people would put themselves in front of me. She told me my name and all about my quirk, so she does know who I am. I am still threw herself in front of me. Either way, I'm impressed. She knew that much about me. She's smart. I wanted to keep her for a while. I released her hair and quickly wrapped my arms around her body, restraining her at the moment. Suddenly I heard, I am here, echoed all around the factory. Damn it, All Might. He's going to ruin my plans, I thought angrily. I stepped into the middle of the room and called all my villains to retreat. Kogiri opened his warp gate, and as soon as it was only facing All Might, the girl in my arms started to squirm and wiggle as an attempt to free herself. I tightened my grasp. All Might ran forward in an attempt to save her. Using my free hand, I covered her right eye and half of her head. I made sure to have a finger raised so she didn't decay. That stopped her squirming, and All Might stopped running forward. The girl tensed up and I wrapped my arms around her tighter. I felt more of the girl body weight on me as she went limp. I was cutting off more and more of her oxygen supply. Don't try to rescue her or else, I threatened everyone. All Might took another step forward in an attempt to get close to the large gap between us. I held my prize tighter as I felt almost her whole body weight on my arm. She was more and more flop over, looking at the ground. Her hair was more a dark brown color now. As she got closer and closer to unconsciousness, she was so limp and verbally, now, do you really want her dead that bad? Well, if you insist, I said. and said, All Might, move closer. No, stop, he yelled as I was about to decay her face. I moved my hand away, staring straight into his eyes. I was about to say something when the girl started to move. She struggled to move her head and face, All Might. But when she did, she spoke something so soft and quiet that it could barely be heard. Listen to him. I can handle myself, she said, while a fit of coughing overtook her body. She struggled. She shuddered while she struggled to say the next thing. Don't come for me. I'll be okay. And then she went completely limp, and I felt her whole body weight pressed against me. Her cord stopped allowing her to float. Her hair was deep brown now, too. Must be unconscious, I thought, as I stepped back into Kogir's warp gate. He warped us back to the place we were in before. It was an old, run-down bar. I placed the girl in a wooden chair that was bolted to the locked them in place. This was the first time I could actually get a good look at her. Her costume was light purple with see-through arm bands and matching skirt. Her head tilted to one side, and her hair fell into her face. She slept peacefully, oblivious to the world around her. She's really beautiful, I thought, as I waited for her to regain consciousness. And that is the end of this video. I read two parts. I read part 1, the USJ, and I read part 2, Shigaraki. So, yeah. Oh, also, forgot to mention, I'm making up for yesterday. But yeah, because I'm writing my own fan fiction. But warning, the fan fiction is going to fucking suck. Oh, the first time cussing in this video. Yeah. Surprised. I usually cuss in like every one of my videos. Nah, whatever. But that is beside the point. And yeah. So I think that's it. And, well, bye everyone.